Pelowski.
Mr. Speaker, members, this is an iPhone, a smartphone. Every school district in this state has concocted rules to take this away from students. You go into any principal or assistant principal's office, you'll see a pile of them because they have no idea how to use them in the schools, so they take them away. The students continually use them, but we don't know how to help the students use them properly. The course that's in this bill could be taken on a smartphone. The trouble is, the school districts aren't smart enough to figure out how to incorporate it. Less than a decade ago, this floor, most members would have had a pile of paper about a foot high. All of the bills introduced for you to thumb through at your leisure to try to figure out how an amendment, which was another big piece of paper, could be inserted into that pile. When we first brought computers onto the floor, everybody panicked. Oh my, how can we use these things? We really can't. We don't know how. Now it's so commonplace, there's at least one computer on some people's desks, and on others there's probably more than one, including mine. The chief clerk, the previous chief clerk, wasn't terribly happy about moving to technology. He resisted it. And then he found out that instead of mailing a bill to someone, which meant you had to physically print it, put it in an envelope, post it, and take it to the post office, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can download everything. If you don't think the students are using this, you're wrong. They are. The problem is, how are we going to help the students use it properly? It isn't going to go away. We now have the iTextbook. The iTextbook is going to do to textbooks what iTunes did to music. You're not going to buy it on a CD, and you're not going to buy it on a record. You're going to buy the song you want, when you want, and how to use it, and textbooks are going to be the chapter, the map, the graph, and ultimately, just as in this body, it saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in paper and costs, it will save money, and the students will be able to use this 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and we won't be taking it away. We'll be telling them how to use it properly. This bill is a modest proposal. It isn't anything the school districts can't do, it's what they should do. Let's develop the best way to use the smartphone. It's called a smartphone. For once, could education be smart and use it?
The member from Hennepin, Representative Depke.
Representative Pelowski, have I told you lately that I'm in love with you? Well, Representative Pelowski and I think a lot alike on a lot of things. I'm sure there are other things we don't think alike on, but when it comes to education, we're in sync. I just want to say one thing. I want to thank Representative Myra from the bottom of my heart for introducing this bill. My district had the Milken Award winner this year, Seth Brown. He teaches 8th grade in one of my schools. Now I know we're not really playing the privileged versus the non-privileged game here, because not every family in my district is privileged, and we don't have cable in all the areas of my area. You'd be shocked to know that, but that's true. But Seth Brown is a 5-year teacher at one of my middle schools. He teaches 8th grade. And when he came into the middle school, the first thing he asked is, can I please get iPads for my students? And they said, no, you can't do that. He said, well, what if I can figure out a way to get them for free? So Seth Brown, and by the way, my daughter was in 8th grade at the time, Every kid in her class wanted to get into Seth Brown's class. She was one of the unfortunate ones that did not have him as a teacher. But he took it upon himself, and he was able to apply for a scholarship to get iPads for all of his 8th grade students. He teaches math. The next thing he did is he went to the school and he said, "Can I get some chairs where these kids can roll around on?" They said, "No, we can't afford that." So you know what he found in the basement of the school? He found these old television stands. And he said, "Can I have these stands in my class?" His kids sit on old TV stands. He breaks them up into groups. Many of them, this was the first time they had ever seen an iPad, had one in their hand, and he is teaching them how to use the iPad and how to use it for math. This young man is the most popular man in the school. We had the Commissioner of Education personally handed him the Milken Award. He's a national award winner out of 25 throughout the entire country, and he received a $25,000 bonus from our Commissioner of Education through the Milken Foundation. This is any kid, and Representative Pelowski is right. These kids now have it, they get it, they're growing up with it, the young teachers know about it, and this is a great bill. It's time for Minnesota continue to be leaders in what's going on in this country in education, and thank you to Representative Greiling and Pelowski for their support.
The member from St. Louis, Representative Rukavina.
Representative Depke, I just want you to know, Representative Depke, I am totally heartbroken over here. I don't know how I'm going to make it through the day after what you told Representative Pelowski. I thought I was your favorite.
Oh, may I just have a follow-up, sir? Yeah, I'm just
The member from Hennepin, Representative Depke.
We got to vote, I know. Representative, I'm just interested in where you buy your underwear, that they're made in the USA.
Discussion to the bill. The member from Washington, Representative Detmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know if I'm going to follow that, but
Clerk will take the roll.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Representative Detmer.
First of all, thank you, Representative Myra, for bringing this forward. By the way, this is an iPad, this is an iPhone, and I got my laptop on my desk too. I serve on the Higher Education Committee, and we know what's going on in higher education with online learning. We need to follow suit with the K-12. Many of these young men and women that are graduating from high school or college, they go into the military. You would be surprised, astounded by the type of electronic equipment they use in the military today. So thank you for bringing this forward.
Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll on the bill. The clerk will close the roll. Representative Thiessen votes nay. There being